Why, hello. Hello, hello, hi. It is me, Desai. Small town DD. You're hiding these over internet. Sakastracha and back. Hello, yella. Wowza. Somebody asked me to talk on decentering men. I think I've done content and I will continue to around like this topic because it's never ending. There'll always be a trending like story that reminds us to like these oaks aren't it, right? There's this thing that stays in my like mind. There was this sit down, I don't know if it was on Super Soul Sundays or what, that Oprah did with Shonda Rhimes. I know they partnered. I can't remember if Shonda's married. Um, but they were both talking about basically not wanting to get married, how it's never been for them. And I love Miss Wendy Williams. Anybody who doesn't know that about me, I sit here because Miss Wendy, we all do. Okay, shout out, shout out. The legend. But, you know, my girl's downfall was a man. And I remember Wendy on her show was like, to the young girls, don't listen to what these women have to say because there's nothing quite like, she did this even, the warmth of a man, right? All of that. Had that fucking idiot of a man of hers, Kevin Calvin, whatever Hunter, on this pedestal. And here are these other successful women. And if we're going to use the marker of money being the thing, they've done better than her, right? And she's saying to the young girls, ignore all of this because of nothing. But like, I love Auntie Wendy. I love all Miss Wendy down. Everybody knows this. But how the fuck did that pan out? How did the warmth of a man pan out, ma'am? She is our ultimate cautionary tale in modern day, as Black women in particular. And the comment was, I should talk about it in the South African lens. There's no real difference. Things lend themselves to each other. They're not that different. The conditioning is very much the same. A lot of it is just like, you know, white patriarchy and all of that. And then we try to package it and try to yesify it. And sometimes we like put some spirituality shit in there. The man is supposed to be the head, culturally this, but there's nothing to really support that narrative. Like we just say it and like it doesn't end well. Do we see how it ended for Miss Wendy to center a man? Do we see? What happens to you if a man is not at your center? Have you asked yourself that question? And South African women love men. They're still very conservative, still very much chase their conservative ideas and marriage and all of that stuff. And I'm not saying they shouldn't. I made a whole video telling you guys that it's cool that you want to get married, and I'm not going to continue to take a weird tone with you all because I don't think I'm saying people shouldn't want to get married. Not that I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I don't want to, and I want people to hold room for me. Like, for me who's not looking, I there's nothing validating about a man getting on his knees and saying, can you be my wife? I'm fucking fantastic. Of course that will happen to me. Like, it's not that hard. Like, I'm really like, I'm going to give you this little ring so you can labor for me for the rest of my life in every sense of the word labor. And I'm supposed to like jump up and down and think that it's a win for me. Are we okay? I don't want that win. I want a different kind of win. And I'm happy for you girls who got a person who's actually in partnership with you, but you know that's not the norm out there. I had a friend once, no, we're still friends, but she's younger and she hadn't asked the whys yet. And I remember we were sitting out on like the stoop by her house and her brother was also around. And she goes, we were talking about the marriage thing, and she's like, oh, you really don't want it? I'm like, I really don't. And she says to me, yo, I really want it. Like, I want my own kitchen. And I remember not understanding what she was saying. And I was like, no, but you can have you can have a kitchen. My brother was literally like, you can. Like, we were both like, you can have a kitchen. Like, it doesn't it's not linked. Like the penis and the kitchen aren't like mutually exclusive. They don't come to, it's not, they don't come together. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And she's like, not like that. Like, I want a man and a kitchen. So it's like, you've tethered so much to this, the presence of this person, that you honestly, like, I realized in that moment that, oh my God, we're still running with the idea that a man means all these other things, when a man really just means a man. It means you're going to get a man. And actually, it might also mean you get a headache, you get diseases, you get to be stressed out, you get to not have help around the house. It could very well mean all those things as well. But we've been like programmed to think that, like, we attach positive attributes and contributions to like having a man. And I've no idea what in life is continuing to support the delusion. Like, when you look around, you can see that they don't come with kitchens. In fact, they want to move into your house with your kitchen. And when you're at the work, bring women at that very house. They don't come with the stuff anymore. They're underachieving, especially the South African ones. So it bugs me when we still are like spazzing and going crazy. And I saw on my Papandaba that there was a woman trending because her husband went and, did he marry somebody behind her back or whatever she did? Sounds like she's like Kimubedi, I think the lady. And she's talking about how, I've been with this person for so long. We lost a child. We grieved the child. We did this. And this man went into my Pepandaba and denied knowing this woman. Talked about how I'm not even with her like that. And people were at their wedding. This is who you're centering. Doing yourselves no favors. The whys are important. I said in that other video. Why do I want this thing? Where do I win? Okay? The two columns of pros and cons. I'm telling you, once you start doing that, where the men them are concerned, you find yourself giving less of yourself to a situation that is not giving as much to you. That's been my journey, at least, right? Where I'm like, but why? Okay, what does he get out of this? You know, this proposition as if like marriage does more for you than it does for him. Then one day you sit up and you're like, but wait a minute. This person has a live-in helper, a live-in sex person, a mommy when he needs one, a shit. He has all of these things going on. And what did you get? A man. That's it. That is all you get to say to other people. At least you have a man. Like, it's supposed to mean something. A lot of the women who do content on Decentering Men aren't even saying don't partner. They're saying partner, and that's what I'm saying as well. I'm never gonna tell you to be celibate. I think it's a deeply personal decision that you come to. I am never gonna say to you, just fuck these guys and get a hobby. It's not helpful. I've seen that it's not helpful. I think we were going down that path for a while. Then we realized that because this can't be that. That's been the conversation. The affection I get from my friend cannot be the same as what I get from a romantic partner, from my mom, from my siblings. Those things don't feel the same, right? And they don't mimic each other in such a way that you can feel like, oh, this thing, I'm getting it over here. I don't need to go over here. Women are going to continue to want to be in partnership with men. So shaming people for wanting to be romantically partnered is not very useful, I find. Saying to people, oh my God, you still want that? Not very useful. Again, me not wanting to get married, I don't have to say to people, oh my God, you still want that? I need to get them to a point where they are wanting this thing from a strategic point of view, from a position of strength, where you're like, I want this thing, but you're not operating from a place of desperation, from a place of trying to be validated. Like, you exist, you are enough. You're valid, all outside of this. All of this should be to enrich, to add to your life, and you recognizing that you are a gem and they should be so lucky. But we're currently not operating from that position of strength, of realizing that we're giving more in the situation than has been given to us. So when we're happy to take any man that is given to us. We don't want to wait it out because we think we're running out of time, even when we're not running out of time. We don't want to wait it out because there's pressure. People are talking crazy to us. We don't want to wait it out because we feel we've put in too much time and, well, I may as well stay here. No, you don't. The scarcity mindset is another thing that we need to, it's part of, you got to dislodge that shit. Decentering that thing. It's part of how you do it, or how I've done it anyway. Want all of these things, but want them from a place of fullness. Want these things from a place of deservedness. Want these things from a place of knowing that not getting them is not the end of your life. Those of you who are believers, when I said in that Miss EXO video, want them understanding that this is not the only way that your higher power can validate your existence. All of this is your divine destiny, and you're supposed to do away with that rubbish, because that's how you end up giving yourself to less than deserving men, because you have an idea of what your life should be. And that idea is centered around you having this person that possibly doesn't even contribute much. They take more than they give. Do you see where I'm coming from with this? That's how decentering works. It's very personal. It's slow as well. And it's never going to look like another person's thing. And it's not man hating. It's not, oh, you are never, you shouldn't. Don't allow people to shame you out of your heart's desires. Because that's the other thing that makes you make bad decisions. When you're being shamed about those things, you make those decisions to partner with certain people in silence. You don't work your thoughts through with the women, your tribe. You're too ashamed to go to them to say, this happened. And I allowed it to happen because I didn't want to lose this person. This happened and I was too scared to speak up because I thought he was going to leave me. There's a woman there who will tell you, oh, I went through that and this was the result of it. What happened is that I became a doormat. What happened is slowly but surely I got to a point where I could no longer say no to this person, and they got to get away with murder and do. When you make those decisions, my tummy's growling. In shame, when you make decisions to continue because you're like, there are things that I do even in my journey right now where I feel like I'm not very proud of this Didi, or I'm not very proud of this moment. And I must allow myself those very human moments, those very human vulnerabilities. I just must allow them and then shed myself of them and move on and do better the next day. Understanding that Didi is at the center. Is Didi happy? If I decide I'm going to go out on a date with this person, is it because it was most convenient for them? Am I having to move my things out of the way? But whenever I want to see this person, they very much with ease tell me, oh, I can't see you today, I'm busy. But when they call me, do I drop everything at a moment's notice because, oh, he wants to see me, he wants to see? Don't do that. And I'm not saying play hard to get because, oh my God, you want to play games or whatever. But don't do what has not been done for you. Don't give way, because men are like, they will take advantage of you. They won't stop. I don't care if he says he loves you or whatever. Once he sees that, oh, we're there and you're willing to give and give and give without asking for much in return, not only will he not offer to do more, he will take even more from you to go share with another woman somewhere. We're going to continue to have the conversations on decentering because there will always be a trending topic somewhere where we see that a man was centered. And now look, we spoke about Boosie, the songstress. She's now coming back trying to rebrand why she left, because why? She's experiencing shame. She made a decision feeling like she's got a provider, protector. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what he was selling her at the time, right? And it seemed believable for all intents and purposes. was checking the boxes. Her life was comfortable. The man seems to have been doing well. And she decided she wants to go do the housewife thing. But now she's come back. Lucy's now lying to us. But luckily we love her. We adore her. What a lady when she was going and she told us why she was leaving. Now she's coming back because she's feeling so shameful of why it is that she left. She's trying to essentially use her kids and say, I would not have been able to be the mother. No. You also would not have been able to be the exact wife that this man said he wants you to be. So your real reason for leaving was so you could play this role for this man. And at the time, you probably felt fulfilled by it. It probably made you happy. But herein is the cautionary tale. You're not doing the women any favors when you come back as a returned soldier and your tellings of war aren't what transpired. You're trying to zhuzh it up, trying to rebrand, trying to make it something. Own your story. It's more powerful when you own your shit. Right? You will find that the women are more likely to listen to you who did it than me, who's just saying, I learned from watching Boosie do it that you don't do that. But Shimu now, again, it's the shame. Shame makes us lie. Shame makes us lie about the things that we do, the things that we allow men to get away with. That's another thing. There's a lot of things that happen to us where, because of all of this, your victim blaming stuff, we are finding that we can't even have an honest conversation about the fact that some of it boils down to what we allowed. What I want you to understand, I suppose, from this whole video is that it's not your fault, and you are, I know Rahadi likes to call people less than smart, but I'm also a work in progress. You're not less than smart for finding that you're centering a man. You were programmed to do that. You have to deconstruct. You're gonna have to unprogram yourself slowly but surely. And it does come with a lot of, when you look back, it does come with a lot of experiencing shame of how you behaved, but understand that it was taught to you. You turned out that way. It was designed for you to turn out that way. It's not because you were just so thick and so less than smart and stuff. I got that from old Miss Wendy, by the way. She loves to call people less than smart. But look at what happened to her. She could come on here, read people for filth, and tell people all the bad decisions they're making while her husband was carrying on an affair of over a decade. I can come on here right now and tell you guys this and tell you guys that, Kanti, I have a man out there driving my imaginary car, and you guys are allowed to bully me about not driving. Maybe it will get to me and I'll do something about it. It's so embarrassing. But anyway, maybe, and I come on here, and I would not be the first. The girls come online and they lie all the time and they talk a good game. And, deconstructing also has a lot to do, for me, with your faith and spirituality, which a lot of it's intertwined. It's especially the Abrahamic stuff, but even the African spirituality stuff. There's this need of like hierarchies fuck with me. I don't understand why people feel like they need to be above somebody and somebody must be below, and then it's a pyramid, and then the children. Those things always mess with me. And also I had to arrive at that where I realized that this need for there to be a head, and then at this, and then at that, it is part of how we also get here. You may have to work through some stuff regarding your faith in order for you to start deconstructing how you relate to men. Those of you with deities, with male pronouns and stuff, and higher powers with, it's directly linked to how you relate to men. You see, now it's getting difficult. Do you see? It becomes difficult. It does. All of this, your dad being the head of the household, but you see your mom doing the bulk of the work. But you're having to say something that is not what is being lived. Your mom is keeping everything together, but your dad is still regarded somehow as above your mom, and you know your mom's a Nick. People love being Nicks. I don't know why, and all of that stuff. It plays into how you're not able as a woman, as an African woman, to get out into the world. You also now find yourself, because you're having to play pretend at home with that structure, you're also out in the real world trying to like emulate the same behavior of assigning men characteristics and you know things that they don't have, and saying he's your king simply because he has a penis, like all of the stuff. Like you just find yourself perpetuating this false narrative because it's happening at home. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, we're gonna have more of these chats, more and more. There'll always be somebody lying to us. I'm telling you, Boosie is doing a little. Bye, Yella.